WBRC Fox 6 News. First Alert Weather Extra starts now.
Welcome into First Alert Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. The next big thing for us is going to be a risk for severe weather Friday night and into Saturday. You know, we're getting closer to the month of April. That means we're getting into that spring severe weather season here in Alabama. So we're going to have to watch it. Now, first off, I'm not seeing a major outbreak for our area Friday night, but this is one of those setups where we could have, it only takes one storm. We could have one storm that could grow severe, damaging winds. Can't rule out a tornado. So we've got to watch for that threat and make sure Friday night and into Saturday. Let's get you to the graphics here, show you the advisory. You can see Friday and the Saturday, and again, most of the day Friday is going to be okay. It's Friday night and into the early morning hours on Saturday. Notice 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. Saturday, isolated tornadoes, damaging winds. And the way this is looking, I know we've been talking a lot about areas to the south, and one of the reasons why is a lot of the global data was really focused in on a lot of that instability really staying off to the south, but it looks as though we may see a bit higher instability, which, you know, this time of year, it doesn't take much with that additional warmth. And we're going to warm up quite a bit here next couple of days, but we're going to see those moisture levels make a return. And then late Friday night, as low pressure passes by, we've been talking about those powerful systems out west. As that system moves on by, what will happen is we get that window where we get the combination of the wind energy, the instability. So that's why we have these areas, especially back to the west, favored for that risk of severe weather, or at least a level 2 out of 5. And the risk is more limited the further east as that system starts to kind of pull away. But I still think for Friday night into Saturday morning, the warning setup is going to be rather isolated for our area just based on what we're seeing with this system. But one change that we have noted is that this may take a little while to get out of here compared to earlier thinking. This may trend as late as 7 a.m. Saturday for those areas to the east before ending. So we have kind of pushed that back. So plan still that possibility of some early morning impacts, even past sunrise time there Saturday morning. Warm-up continues through at least next couple of days, and we're going to hang on to 70s for the weekend. And we have another risk for severe weather. We're still watching late Sunday night and into early on Monday for that risk of strong to severe storms. So we got the rain that we told you about yesterday across areas north, and that's all now moving away. So between now and that system Friday night, we're actually going to have some incredible weather. Highs tomorrow in the 80s, a nice warm-up on the way. I do want to point out for Alabama fans traveling to Louisville for the Sweet 16. Notice the Louisville area is under flood watches right now. Some big-time significant rainfall expected in this area. So if you are traveling for the basketball tournament, make sure you have our First Alert weather app so you can get those alerts in case there are some flash flood warnings in this area. But some big-time rainfall about to impact not only Louisville, but you can see stretching back towards Evansville and areas back to the west. I want to show you quite the storm system here, though. We have this one bit of energy here around Salt Lake City. Look at all the snow here. And it was interesting earlier today, we were seeing a lot of reports coming in out of LA, a tornado possible there. A lot of video of that twister there as it moved through the area. You can see here the radar showing, of course, in the higher terrain, we're seeing that significant snowfall. And then the lower elevations, we've got that rain moving onshore, but some wild weather that's been impacting areas along the west coast and into parts of California has had quite the impact, of course, on that drought monitor that we've been bringing you here each and every week. A look at current radar across the state, and again, all the rain's moved out. That's just ground clutter that you're looking at there. We'll see all of the areas stay well above freezing again tonight, and we'll see 80s back on the map tomorrow. Utah, see that 80 degrees showing up, but it will be even warmer next couple of days. As we continue right here, though, we'll have the 7-day coming up, of course, and we'll go beyond the 7-day here on First Alert Weather Extra. More on that tornado I was just telling you about there in California, and more on the severe weather threat and a sandstorm in China, a story that we'll bring you as well as we continue right here on Weather Extra.
We know weather can be grab the umbrella or jogging shoes, but it's so much more. It's a science, an art, led by knowledge and experience.
And no one has more of that than a WBRC First Alert weather team.
Warning you first with more hours committed to you. And the first forecast built to see weeks, days, and even minutes ahead, right down to where you live. From the team you trust on your favorite screen.
Doing the weather better. The WBRC First Alert weather team, always on your side.
Some people may think you're overreacting. Some may ask, is there a storm coming? That's okay, because knowing the first alert has helped you beat the rush. Being prepared puts you in control and changes the what if to you're okay. Knowing first is everything. First Alert Weather.
If you have plans for this weekend, we have a first alert for a wintry mix.
When you need to know next week, tomorrow, or even right now, the WBRC First Alert Weather Team is always on your side, whenever and wherever you need us. This is why we First Alert.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Jimmy and Sierra Stiles are nature lovers, especially when it comes to the great Alabama outdoors. In fact, they specialize in studying our neighbors who, believe it or not, crawl along the ground. Meteorologist Fred Hunter talked with the Stileses about their work with native snakes and how the weather impacts our reptilian friends and you.
Welcome back to another Weather Extra. Just by looking at your screen, you can tell this one's going to be extra special and extra different. These are my friends from South Alabama that I met many years ago, Jimmy and Sierra Stiles, and they're at the Turtle Point Science Center in Escambia County. And as you could tell by looking at Sierra there, they are, well, snake experts, I guess. Snake lovers might be more appropriate, and specifically the snake that Sierra is holding there, the black indigo snake. Jimmy and Sierra, thank you so much for joining us today. Now, Sierra, since you're holding our friend the black indigo, tell us how this our acquaintance began and about your work with the black indigos.
Yeah, so I started working on a project through Auburn University that the Department of Conservation in Alabama was releasing this beautiful endangered snake to bring it back for conservation reasons. It keeps our ecosystem in balance, and it's called the Eastern Indigo snake, and it's one that a lot of people really like because it eats other snakes, including snakes that can hurt us, and it's also a very beautiful snake.
And you said that the black indigo, basically, he's tied to the demise or the disappearance, I guess, of the longleaf pine. That is his native home. And when the longleaf pine forest disappeared in South Alabama, so did the snake. Is that about right?
Yeah, the Eastern Indigo snake is tied to longleaf pine forests and gopher tortoises. As the longleaf pine declined, so has the gopher tortoises. And indigo snakes disappeared from Alabama back in the 1950s. And in the 2000s to currently, we have been working on a project to reintroduce them in Alabama down in the southern portion where we have lots of longleaf.
I see. And now, you mentioned Sierra did early on that they eat venomous snakes that are a danger to us, primarily copperhead snakes. And I think I remember, Jimmy, our conversation early on, you said that really the copperhead population had exploded as the black indigos went away, because that's his primary food source. I remember you saying that to a black indigo snake that the copperhead was like pizza. He'd eat it anytime he could. Is my recollection correct?
That is exactly right. Yeah, copperheads and other pit vipers such as rattlesnakes and water moccasins are the primary prey of eastern indigo snakes. And where indigo snakes occur, and other snake-eating snakes such as king snakes, where all these snakes occur, the numbers of copperheads and rattlesnakes and things like that is much lower. But when they disappear, those venomous snake species, their populations increase exponentially.
And that could be a threat to us. Now, we went through the cold conditions at the beginning of spring, Jimmy, and I thought about talking to you because we were very warm toward the end of winter. And I remember just a couple of weeks ago looking down out in my yard, and I saw the first snake run across the toe of my boot. And I said, you know what? I need to get Jimmy and Sierra on here to talk about how the weather affects these snakes, because we're going to get more and more out in our yards and working in our flower beds and our gardens and just walking through the woods. Tell us some do's and don'ts, and you may have some examples there, an example of what to look out for.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, as we warm up, snakes come out. Snakes are cold-blooded animals. So to warm up, a snake has to get out in the warm sunshine. And so when we have these warm, sunny days, like we've been having the last couple weeks, the snakes will come out of their holes and will bask to try and warm up. And as they do that, we're likely to encounter them. So a couple things to do to stay safe is make sure you have a really clean yard. Snakes like to hide under things. So, if you got a lot of brush piles and old lumber and stuff like that laying in your yard, that's where snakes are going to gravitate to. So one thing I always tell people to help them stay safe is, if you're going to clean up your yard and like clean up debris or things like that, always use a long-handled rake to flip it over first, right? Don't just go and grab things out of the yard and pick them up, because you never know what might be hiding under there. And then as the temperatures warm up even more as spring progresses and we start to get into these summer-like temperatures, like we're going to have towards the end of this week, like tomorrow, when it gets up in the 80s, these snakes will come out at night. And one of the best ways to protect yourself is just to simply use a flashlight. A lot of people are bitten by venomous snakes walking around in their yard at night without flashlight. And it's easy to accidentally step on snakes when you're doing that. So please use a flashlight. And you're right, I did bring another snake just to show us one of the most common venomous snakes to watch out for. I'll let Sierra back up.
And one thing to remember here is that lots of us love to garden. You need to be careful when you're starting your garden to look around the bottoms of bushes and things before you just stick your hands right out there. Because you may see.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Don't just stick your hand under there, because the Mr. No Shoulders that Jimmy's showing us there may be hiding under there, and he can only back up so far, Jimmy. I guess that's fair. Tell us what we're looking at here. That does not look quite as benign.
This snake right here is a southern copperhead, and southern copperheads are the most common venomous snake that we have in Alabama. And I'm going to try and get him where, if you can see, one of the best ways to tell these snakes is by the hourglass pattern that's wrapped over their back.
Right.
So snake has bands that are wide at the bottom and narrow up towards the top. It looks like an hourglass wrapped over its back. That's a copperhead. You definitely want to stay away from them. And some people like to say that it kind of looks like Hershey Kisses stuck to the side of the snake, which is kind of true. But if no matter what you use to identify it, definitely keep an eye out for these. And if you see one, don't approach them. Don't try and kill them because a lot of people are actually hurt every year trying to kill the snake. The best thing is to leave them alone. If it's around your house, one trick is to get out the hose and spray them with water to run them out of the yard. And once these guys disappear, they're likely to kind of move on if there's nothing really good hanging out for them to enjoy.
All right, well, I'm going to let you put our friend there back. That is a formidable looking snake, Jimmy. And I want to say that, even, and this is my final point, but I remember well that something you told me, that even the copperhead snake in our ecosystem has his place because his venom is used actually in medicine. Do I recall that correctly as far as in the treatment
exactly
of
right.
women's breast cancer?
Yeah, their venom was used to develop a really amazing drug that's being used to treat breast cancer. And a lot of our venomous snakes, their venom is being used for all kinds of different medicines, everything from painkillers to blood pressure medicines are being developed from snake venom.
So even our friend Mr. Copperhead has his place, but you need to leave him in his place and you stay in yours. Jimmy and Sierra Stiles doing a lot of work with the herpetology folks over at Auburn, and they're in Escambia County. Guys, I can't thank you enough for educating us on the weather, and our friends Mr. No Shoulders there. And if you see that black indigo snake, leave him alone. He is serving a real purpose. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brad. Have a great day.
All right, thank you.
All right, definitely a very interesting story there. I don't think I can ever get that close to a snake, and I probably won't ever do that. But meanwhile, for weather around the world, a severe sandstorm has swept across Beijing and several northern provinces in China. Take a look at this. Blanketing the region in thick clouds of orange dust and sending air pollution, soaring to hazardous levels. State weather authorities said on Wednesday. Weather authorities in Beijing warned people not to go outdoors for exercise and other activities and have asked drivers to stay vigilant and reduce speed, because this is actually not video of the sandstorm in China. This is actually a spider that's in Australia that they found a new species of. Absolutely crazy. But now let's go over to Beijing, China, where that sandstorm is taking place. Take a look at this video right here. Low visibility over Beijing is regularly hitting with sandstorms in the spring, and the smog has made visibility even worse by rising industrial activities and rapid deforestation throughout northern China. So I don't think we have that video right now, but we're going to send it over to Lauren to talk about what's happening in California. Take a look at more weather around the world. In California, they've been dealing with a lot of stuff. So Lauren, can you tell us a little bit more about what's going on in California?
Yeah, Tania, back here in the United States, California faces another round of crazy weather. Just today, a landspout, a kind of weaker tornado that forms closer to the ground, developed in SoCal this morning. Aerial video of industrial buildings shows roofs completely ripped open. This happened in Montebello near Los Angeles. Parts of the roof were tossed into the parking lot, and at least 5 buildings were damaged. At least 1 person was hurt. The National Weather Service in Los Angeles is still assessing the damage. Coming up on First Alert Weather Extra, we check back in with Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt for a look at that 7-day forecast, and I'll take you beyond the 7-day. We'll be right back.
West Shore Home is making shower and bath remodeling easy and more affordable for everyone. Hey everybody, I'm joined by Kirsten Page from West Shore to find out exactly how they're making that happen. Kirsten.
So Joe, we've been able to give homeowners, over 165,000 of them, the shower and bath of their dreams by making it a fast, easy, and convenient experience. But now we're making it even more affordable to start your project without breaking the bank.
Now Kirsten, when someone starts a remodeling project, costs can be a real concern. So how are you making it more affordable to start that project right now?
So instead of me telling you, why don't I show you? This homeowner was having some problems with their old shower. They called us, we stopped out, and we completely removed the old bathtub and replaced it with a walk-in shower in just 1 day. The best part? We can do a job like this for as low as $99 a month.
$99 a month. That's incredible.
It really is. We understand that budgets can be a little tighter this time of the year, so we want to make it easier for folks to get their projects started right now. So let's go ahead and look at another project we recently did. This homeowner was so excited to get rid of their old bathtub because they were getting an easy, low-step shower. You can see here we took out that old bathtub and removed everything down to the studs. Then we installed new walls and fixtures. By dinner time, this homeowner had their brand new shower, and the best part, they didn't need to worry about paying for their entire project up front. They were able to break it down into low monthly payments.
That project looks amazing, and the low monthly payments is going to make getting that project started so much easier. Kirsten, thanks so much. Folks, West Shore Home is making shower and bath remodeling fast and convenient, and you heard Kirsten, now they're making it more affordable too with their easy, low monthly payments. Call the number on your screen right now to start your project, and when you do, take advantage of this great offer. Call in now to get your new shower for as little as $99 a month. On top of that, they're doing free installation on all shower and bath projects. Don't delay. Call the experts at West Shore Home now.
All right, time to check out our 7-day forecast here on First Alert Weather Extra. And tomorrow, nice warm up to 82 degrees. It's going to be a beautiful day out there. Notice we stay dry. There's a look at the forecast radar throughout the day. And we're going to enjoy some sunshine. 82 T-Town, 81 Birmingham, 77 for the Anniston area. And also we got through most of the day Friday will be dry, but we have that first alert for possible severe storms. Maybe a few sprinkles during the day Friday with some clouds as the atmosphere starts to moisten up. But you can see some of the new high resolution data. This is from the global high resolution atmospheric forecasting system. And notice back to Mississippi, see these little discrete, that's what we call discrete storms, those lone storms. That's the ones we really have to watch out for with rapidly growing severe, especially when you consider we're going to have some of those ingredients out there. Now, this won't be a widespread outbreak, but we could have 1 or 2 storms, again, that show up there late Friday night. Right now, what we're seeing, it looks like that risk may be greatest in those areas back to the north and west there, setting up, going into the overnight hours. And that's closer to where we have more of the dynamics with this particular system. Now, it seems like we are going to have some of the instability, but what happens is as that low pressure system lifts to the north, it's going to spread a lot of rain, a lot of active weather north of here. You can see how the storms, or at least we don't have a well-defined line that makes its way through here. The wet weather becomes a bit more scattered in early Saturday morning, but we have pushed back that end time here to around 7, 8 o'clock. Notice 6:30. Still seeing that possibility of some wet weather. This system is going to stall out this weekend. So hopefully, just looking at some of these latest trends here, I hope this doesn't stall out a bit further north than we anticipate on Saturday. But at this point, we still expect that rain chance to come to an end. You see right there by 10 a.m. on Saturday as that system passes on by. But we're going to watch for that trend. At this point, the rest of Saturday after that early morning wet weather and storm impact. It looks like the remainder of Saturday will be dry. Most of Sunday looks good, but Sunday night we start to see a warm front lifting back in here. Rain, storms, could be some gusty winds, maybe a hail producer. This will be late Sunday night and into Monday. So again, if you have plans during the day Sunday, you'll be in good shape. It's late Sunday night and into Monday. Then it looks like we'll trend towards a little bit cooler, more tranquil weather there towards the middle of next week. But a little bit colder. I see that 4-0 there. You see that early Wednesday morning. A little bit colder there, but at least staying above freezing. Meteorologist Lauren Linehan in the First Alert Weather Center to update us on that long-range forecast as we go beyond the 7-day.
Hey, Wes. Yeah, so we are expecting, as we look ahead here, 8 to 14 days from now. So over the next 2 weeks, it does generally look like we're still going to be seeing that pattern favoring above average temperatures. Now, across the west and into the Rockies, even into parts of the Midwest, we're still seeing the potential for below average temperatures. So it looks like the southeast is going to be stuck in that pattern. That isn't going to be just promoting warmer air in place, but also the potential for more storms in the forecast. So a kind of typical active spring pattern. Let's look at those forecast highs here as we get into next week. So you'll see generally around average we should be in the upper 60s, low 70s. So likely seeing temperatures surge above 70 as we get into next week and going beyond the 7-day as well. And as far as the potential low temperatures, of course, everyone's wondering, could we see the potential for another frost or freeze? Well, it's not out of the realm of possibility that as we get into April, there could be another frost freeze potential. Not next week, but maybe be the week following after that. So the first full week of April, that's something we certainly want to watch, but otherwise still looking pretty warm in the days ahead. Now, I mentioned with this warm active pattern, the potential for above average precipitation. And you will notice that highlighted here, especially across the northern half of Alabama, possibility for more rainfall in the forecast. And of course, if we get some rain in the spring, that sometimes can be accompanied by severe weather systems or come from that. So here we are looking at the mid-level flow in the atmosphere. This shows us how the winds are going to be flowing, and that's what's going to be steering these storms, that jet stream. So as we look ahead here we go into Friday morning of next week, the possibility of another storm system coming in to that first weekend of April 1st, Saturday. We noticed that night around midnight, still looking like stormy weather for that first weekend of April across the southeast, potentially lingering into Monday. So what I'm seeing here is the potential for not just more severe weather, but also the possibility of some wet weather. So we're certainly going to want to watch as we get into early April for that possibility of a severe threat. But in the meantime, hey, at least we're going to get some warmer weather here over the next couple days before those storms arrive. Now we check in with meteorologists Matt Daniel and Mickey Ferguson for when there are clear skies, what could we see in that night sky?
Hey, Mickey.
Yeah.
Did you know that tonight, really coming up soon, sunset is now at 7 p.m.?
What?
I know.
It feels like 6:59, but it's 7 p.m. and then April 7th, 7:07, 7:30 on May the 1st. He reads good, Mama.
There you go. So, yeah, we're getting more daylight. So as we get closer to summer, it's going to continue. So
right.
one cool thing I want to mention about this evening and tomorrow night is to look towards the west. Right around sunset and afterwards, look for the moon, and right below the moon you might see the planet Jupiter, and to the above it you'll see the planet Venus, and you'll be able to see that for tonight and again going into tomorrow evening. So
hopefully the clouds will break up just in time for that.
Yeah, so speaking of clouds, I think we'll be in decent shape. This is showing as we go into this evening, looking like most of the clouds are going to be lifting up to the north, so that's some promising news there. And then as we go into Thursday evening, still showing mostly clear conditions.
So we get to see that little astronomical sight.
Yeah, so if you see that, feel free to take a photo of it and send it through the WBRC First Alert weather app. Speaking of sunsets, we might as well talk about those sunrise times. And yeah, because of daylight saving time, sunrise has been a little bit later, but notice over the next month or two, it gets earlier and earlier.
As the days get longer and longer till we get to the summer solstice. I wonder what's going on at the Oak Mountain State Fair.
Oh yeah, that's happening this weekend.
It sure enough is.
Yeah, it's going to start off Friday evening, and I know we're mentioning the threat for strong and severe storms Friday night. We're going to be looking at that over the next couple of days, but I think for most of this time frame, looking mostly dry, just warm and very breezy.
And if you have any questions about it, you can just pay attention to your First Alert weather app. We could see some discrete cells start to move into West Alabama after 9 p.m. So yeah, if you're out there still at the fair, just pay attention to your First Alert weather app.
Most definitely. And of course this weekend, if you're not going to be able to make it out Friday, maybe you're concerned about the weather this weekend, I think Saturday's the best day to go
out. It really
out.
looks great for Saturday, and the rain should be gone. Most of the storm's gone by probably 7 or 8 a.m. and then decreasing clouds going into the afternoon. Looks like a fabulous start to the day. And you know, Sunday morning looks pretty good too.
Yeah, Sunday morning's looking good. If you're going to be out and about, of course, the fair won't open until lunchtime, noon. So that's when we could see some rain and storms develop. And of course, still pretty far out. We'll have to fine tune that. But like I said, I think Saturday looks like your best day to be outside.
Okay, I'm ready for you know, one of those corn dogs. And you like the funnel cakes?
Funnel cakes.
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
It goes straight to my thighs though. All right, we'll take some pictures at the fair or wherever you are. Send them in through the First Alert weather app, and we might can feature some of those pics right here.
Right.
On a Weather Extra. I think we're done. Are we done?
We're good.
Okay. Toodles.
And surprise, we're at the J desk. But I want to talk about the severe sandstorm that swept across Beijing and several northern provinces in China. Take a look at this static video that finally is working, blanketing the region in thick clouds of orange dust and sending air pollution soaring to hazardous levels, state weather authorities said on Wednesday. That's today. Weather authorities in Beijing warn people not to go outdoors for exercise and other activities and have asked drivers to stay vigilant and reduce speed because of low visibility. Beijing is regularly hit with sandstorms in the spring, with the smog made worse by rising industrial activities and rapid deforestation throughout northern China. Lauren?
Well, meanwhile, that's it for us here on Weather Extra. Check back in with Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt tonight for an update on that 7-day forecast, and we'll catch you back here on Thursday evening.